Morning, guys. We on Revelation chapter 19, verse 12, and we're looking at Jesus as he comes back riding on the white horse, ready to wage war on the enemies. He's already defeated a lot of enemies, Satan and sin and death on the cross, and now the final battles are coming, and he's waging war against Satan and going to lock him up for good and judge the world. And so we're looking at pictures of him. And in verse 12 it says his eyes are a flame of fire. And so it's, fire, it sort of, when the fire gets lit, it goes. And so in a sense it's, and he can see all things. But there's also a sense of fire. If you see someone with fiery eyes, there's a sense of fear and dread, especially if you're an enemy of Jesus. A penetrating eyes that can look into all situations, but also the picture of him coming now to judge the world. And on his head are many diadems or many crowns. He's not just the king of the universe, he's the king of everything. He made everything, and he came to accomplish everything, and he spoke the word into the world into existence, and now he's coming back and he's going to restore the world again. And so he's the head of everything. And so and so there's many crowns. There's the crowns that the saints put at his feet. It's the crowns that he got put on his head when he was crucified on the cross. Even though it was a mockery, it was a crown of sorts. And so he is over everything, and he rules over everything. And it says, and he has a name written on him which no one knows except himself. And so there are many names for Jesus, and many names describing his character. In fact, we'll read one now, being that his name is the Word of God. But there are certain things that we will never know because we just created beings. And so although God has told us many things about him, that he's right, in fact we read last time, he's righteous and true, and he is the Lamb, as we said, as we read earlier in Revelation. And so all these different names tell us something about Jesus. But there's certain things that are actually beyond our comprehension. So here's a name that no one knows except himself. Verse 13, he is clothed with a robe dipped in blood, and his name is called the Word of God. And so as we picture Jesus, the fiery eyes, and then a robe on the horse coming back, and we notice the robe is dipped in blood. And so many guys will say, well, that's the blood of the saints. Some say, well, that's the blood of the enemies before. But the most precious thing is the blood that was spilt for me and you, the blood that was shed on the cross for the remission of sins. And so either way, there's the picture of the lamb that's slain in the beginning of Jesus, and here the splattered blood. But in the context of here, he's coming back, and he's coming back with a fiery vengeance, and he's coming back now to conquer for good. And so his name's called the Word of God. And so John refers to this in the beginning of the book of John, and also the book of 1 John. He says he is the Word of life. In the book of John, it talks about in the beginning was God, and in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God, and the Word was with God. And that refers, in the beginning of the book of John, it refers to Jesus as well. And so Jesus in every aspect is the Word of God. And so even today, if you're hearing his voice, and if you're reading the scriptures, you're hearing the voice of Jesus. And so you need to respond and make sure that when he comes back, you are one of his. And he's not going to bring judgment on you, and that he's going to welcome you, because there'll be a wonderful thing when he comes back for his own children, but it's a terrifying thing when we don't know him. So I trust you have a wonderful day. God bless.